Naruto has always been a series which has caused much debate and discussion within its fan base. Perhaps most passionately, fans have been discussing some of the various issues this series has faced in regards to its final war and the ultimate conclusion of the series. However, upon reflection, I am actually surprised that Naruto simply did not end in a particular part of Shippuden. That would be the Pain Invasion arc. There are several reasons for this, but I will try to focus on the narrative build-up, some insight into Pain himself, and the thematic conclusion tying into the main message of the series. Nagato was born during the Second Shinobi War and was left an orphan as many were, and was one of the primary founders of the Akatsuki, an organization whose members would serve as the primary antagonists in the second half of the series. Originally, the group was born out of the destructive nature of the conflict, in an attempt to preach peace and end the cycle of violence in the ninja world. However, after his friend Yaiko is killed, Nagato changes his perspective and adopts the name Pain, believing that the world would not be able to understand the importance of peace until it understood true suffering. Pain led the Akatsuki with a new goal to force world peace under any means necessary, and if that failed, to destroy it entirely. Nagato's philosophy is misguided, but at its core is the primary underlying goal of the series. Naruto himself is a ninja who has also suffered in his own way, and is driven to his goal to become Hokage, and in that leading role, unite the ninja world and end the conflicts between the shinobi. This stems from his teaching under Jiraiya, whose belief in a messiah figure in the form of a ninja savior were at the core of his own philosophy of ninjutsu being a primary motivator for world peace. This makes Pain an excellent dark reflection of Naruto, as both were students of Jiraiya's teachings and both ultimately had similar goals, although with virtually opposite paths. The ultimate antagonist is often at times at its best when it is both of similar roots to the protagonist, but the polar opposite in most other respects. This makes the villain both relatable and unsettling, as it would represent the darker aspects often found in the hero, making the blurred line between the two all the more poignant and ultimately human. This shows the potential for the capacity for both good and evil in any individual. This is why Pain is in many respects the perfect final villain for Naruto. Not only are his methods a bizarre perversion of Jiraiya's own teachings, the hammer is nailed in even further after the murder of Jiraiya, as well as all the inhabitants of Naruto's home in the Hidden Leaf Village. Not only did Pain betray the teachings of Naruto's master, he killed his sensei and caused the war to reach a whole new personal level with the destructive attack on Naruto's home. This would potentially lead to the shonen hero being given his final transformation of sorts, allowing him to unleash the Nine Tails in a battle with stakes at this point would have reached their peak with such a dramatic death toll. In addition to this, we must also consider Pain's power and position. Nagato was essentially the leader of the Akatsuki, and at the time considered to be the most powerful member. Though we later learned some truths about the other benefactors, such as Tobi and Madara, Nagato was still a major driving force. Also, his resentment towards the Hidden Leaf Village made him easily one of the best antagonists with a motivation for vengeance. Pain also had his own complexities, though. Certainly a twisted villain with a massive ego, even going so far as to declare himself a deity, believing he is the chosen shinobi to unite all people, he's an individual with a tortured past and some respect for human life despite the suffering he causes. This is made evident by his respect for his teammates such as Deidara upon his death, and even his former master Jiraiya after he kills him. Nagato was also an extremely powerful ninja, with his use of the Rinnegan from an early age, extreme amounts of life energy, and his 6 paths of pain, allowing him to control 6 different bodies at once, each one of these containing various levels of ninjutsu and taijutsu, thus enabling virtually every type of super ability imaginable. With this, he was not only able to kill Jiraiya, but defeat Kakashi as well, and it took the combined efforts of Naruto, Killer Bee, and Itachi to force him to temporarily retreat. With this level of power, arguably no other villain has seemed so skilled or unstoppable, not to mention his brilliant intellect and strategic abilities in combat. Upon the final confrontation with Naruto, Pain is ultimately redeemed, and had the series been reconstructed to some extent, the series would have had a nearly perfect ending. Though his undoing to the damage he caused on the Leaf Village was a bit extensive and overdone, and did kill some of the dramatic weight, his redemption was still powerful, forcing Naruto to put everything on the line and take on new responsibilities. Despite all the pain he caused, Nagato may have indeed achieved his goal, for out of all the blood and tears, a new shinobi world would have been born, with a new potential for peace. Well, those are my thoughts on Pain's invasion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright guys, Merlin out. Peace.